Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. Why is your doctor so fearful? Why do so many doctors out there seem absolutely terrified of speaking up and stepping out of line? This is a topic and a thought that is on the lips of millions of people out there. So many people suspected that something was wrong way before 2020 with the way healthcare was going, with the medical care that was being received, with interactions with healthcare professionals. But since 2020, my goodness, millions of people out there, including myself, have been completely woken up to serious systemic faults within our system. And many people out there, especially between 2020 and 2022, were thinking, why don't more doctors speak out about this true insanity, this craziness? Look at what's going on. It makes no sense at all. How can doctors stay so quiet? And I want to talk in this video about why doctors are so terrified. Why are doctors so fearful? Now, I'm not saying that any of these are excuses. I do not consider them excuses, especially in times where things demand that good people should bravely speak out. But I want to explain why doctors systemically are absolutely terrified and will do whatever is told to them from above. Number one, debt. This should never be forgotten about. The amount of debt that a newly graduated doctor has. This has become more of a problem in many Western countries, including the UK, over the last couple of decades. But I live and work in the USA, and the amount of debt that new doctors are riddled with is absolutely eye-popping. I've seen figures, hundreds of thousands seems to be the average. I've heard some newly graduated doctors approaching $1 million in debt. And a newly graduating doctor is going to want to try to pay that debt off. And they are absolutely terrified of losing the ability to pay this back. I actually think that's a fallacy in many ways, because if worst came to worst, any doctor who is intelligent enough to go through medical school could easily do something else if they wanted to get creative and think outside the box. I'm sure most doctors could do things which were just as well paid or even more well paid than being a doctor, but many may not want to, understandably, take that risk. But of course, a newly graduated doctor is going to have dreams. They're going to want to start a family. They're going to want to have a mortgage. They're going to want to have a decent life. And they are not going to want to jeopardize that. And remember, it often takes decades to pay back that level of debt. And they think they're going into a secure job. They are not going to want to rock the boat. That is a sad reality, and it is the perfect storm for the medical industrial complex and big business that pulls the strings of healthcare to have so many doctors basically in a state of servitude. That's what it is. Absolute servitude to the system. Number two, doctors are simply not well versed in critical thinking. They've never really learned that. Throughout medical education, the culture is to memorize everything. Then when you become a doctor, you do what your attending physician or consultant, if you're in the UK, you do what you are told. And if you're a consultant or an attending, you do what your physician society tells you to do. The physician society that is loaded with conflicts of interest. And that is the way things are. Critical thinking skills, the ability to take a step back and say, hold on, I've looked at data myself. I've critically appraised everything. This makes no sense. I'm simply not going to do it. I'm not going to jump on board with that recommendation. That type of thinking is not prevalent, shall we say, in the medical world. It's a totally foreign concept to most doctors. So if they've never been taught it, how, when the urgency comes to take a step up and be brave, are they ever going to do that? And number three, following on from that, the professional agencies that keep the doctors in line. I won't get started on my 3-hour lecture on what I think about physician societies. I absolutely refuse to join any of them. I think they are absolutely terrible for the good practice of medicine. Look at where their money comes from. Go to any physician conference anywhere in the country. Maybe there's one or two exceptions, but go into them. Look at the hundreds, thousands of doctors walking around, going to their lectures, and then most of the conference space is dominated by the exhibitor hall, which is where big business gets to display their products. The companies, often big pharma, that have paid the physician society thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, Many have been paid millions of dollars over time. You tell me, who is the physician society going to be loyal to? This could be a medical society, a surgical society, a pediatric society. Are they going to be loyal to the doctors who pay them a few $100s a year, or to the big business interests which are paying them thousands? Use your common sense. And these physician societies keep the ranks of practicing doctors in line with their recommendations. Doctors join these societies and they think that they're doing a good thing. They think it's a good thing to be a member of physician societies. I've said this before, but if I was in charge, I would really clamp down on the physician societies. I think they do a lot of damage to the good practice of medicine. And with the physician societies, you also have the licensing authorities and the medical boards, which keep on making more and more expensive tests for doctors to do, more and more requirements. These organizations are very rich indeed. And I remember at the height of the pandemic, I've shared this experience with you before, I remember looking at emails from medical boards warning physicians that if they dared to spread any misinformation, there would be serious consequences. The medical boards were all in on this. They seemed to be losing a lot of sleep over this issue. And I thought to myself, I've been following your emails for years, and I've never seen you be all in on anything. You've never said you're all in on reducing healthcare costs. You've never been all in on raising the quality of care, improving access to doctors. You've never been all in on addressing the true root causes of illness. Those things don't concern you, but you seem very concerned about stopping misinformation and doctors speaking up, sending out these threatening emails. You absolute scoundrels. Look at the things that you care about while ignoring everything else going wrong in healthcare. So those are some reasons then why your doctor is very fearful, why they are terrified for stepping out of line. And I want to share that famous quote with you. I believe it's from the 1800s. All it takes for bad things to happen, for evil to flourish, is for good people to do nothing. And I really believe that there are a lot of good, well-intentioned doctors out there who are terrified and they simply won't step out of line. But really, this is a reflection of humanity in general. How many people, when the time is called upon for them to be brave, are brave enough to do so? It's usually very few. But I hope some of those few are you listening, because that's the only thing that ever changes the world. Thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I enjoy hearing from all of you. Check out my health programs and my free downloads. Those links are down below. Hit the like button if you like this video and the bell button for more similar videos in the future. That really helps with the algorithm and getting these videos shared as widely as possible. We will speak again very soon.